I do remember pictures and stories of how I just wanted to be in a go-kart from when I was 2 or 3 years old. So, well, it's a full-time job, but of course Formula One is the goal for everyone.
The ultimate goal. Today on the red couch, we have Zane Maloney. And of course, Zane Maloney is a young Barbadian Formula 3 driver who has been doing great things internationally and gaining headlines all over the world and making us very proud here in Barbados. So let me welcome him to the red couch. Now, I'm in the driver's seat here now today, which is a little different from what you're used to. So Zane, I'm going to ask you first up, because I read somewhere about 2 years or so ago that he didn't have his driver's license yet. So do you have a driver's license yet?
Yep, I got that 2 years ago, probably just after you heard. But yeah, thank you for having me on. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Did you get it on the first attempt, or you?
Fortunately, yes. I don't think that would have been a good story to tell if I didn't. But yeah, I got it as soon as I turned 16. I went.
You went and got it. Yeah. Lovely. And so tell me about your journey. I mean, the Maloney name has always been Stuart Maloney, Mark Maloney. The Maloneys have always, even your grandfather has been involved in motorsports. So motorsports has obviously been a passion within this family for now 3 generations. So tell me about your involvement.
Yeah, definitely. Well, to be honest, from when I was born, my 2 uncles, my dad and my granddad were racing at the time, and usually you see that, especially in racing, when it costs so much money, maybe the family doesn't want their child to get into it because it's so expensive and so difficult and dangerous at the same time. But my family brought me straight into racing. I was at the racetrack every day when they went from the time I was 2 years old. So
Oh my.
I had no choice.
You had no choice.
But I loved it straight away. I loved the noise of the engines. Obviously, I don't remember so far back in my life when I was 2 years old, but I do remember pictures and stories of how I just wanted to be in a go-kart from when I was 2 or 3 years old. So yeah, I loved racing from the second I was born, and of course the support from my family allowed me to then pursue what I'm doing now. And if it wasn't for their support, then maybe I wouldn't be a racing driver.
So Zane, tell me, you got into motor racing obviously at a very early stage because you were, and I'm assuming, I'm not sure if it's the right assumption, that you got into go-karts first. Was that how you started?
Yeah, at 3 years old I got into my first.
About what?
3 years old. Yeah.
Your parents are crazy to allow a 3-year-old.
My dad. My mum was not happy.
Mum was
my dad
happy.
was trying to get me in as quickly as possible.
Yeah. What are the fundamentals of driving as a motorsports driver?
Well, a lot of people don't know, but firstly, you need to be very fit to be a racing driver. That's the main thing, really. Obviously, you need the talent and you need to work hard. So I'm always trying to be on the track because you learn best when doing the sport. So you need to be on the track all the time, but fitness is a big thing, and you have to train so much, your neck, your upper body, because it's really not driving a road car, it's not the same thing. So we're strapped in, can't move, and we're sweating a lot. Sometimes we lose like 4 or 5 pounds in a race.
4 or 5 pounds?
Yeah, so you lose a lot of weight just
I'm
sweating.
going to start that very soon.
So it's very tough. We need to train a lot, and then safety has come a long way in racing. So I don't really think about that when going on track because I know if I have a big crash, let's say, most likely I'm gonna be okay. But of course, there's still a risk in driving. But yeah, for me, the biggest thing in racing is fitness and continue driving and trying to be around the right people.
So how does fitness? What do you work out? Is it gym work? Is it running? Is it what is it? Endurance? What is it?
Yeah, well, we need a bit of everything. So obviously we need cardio, like a football player, let's say. We need to have good cardio, but we still need upper body strength and lower body strength to hit the brakes and to turn the steering wheel throughout.
There's no power steering, I guess.
No power steering. So it's very tough, especially when we have 45-minute races. So I think we're in between. We're not a bodybuilder, but not a football player. It's kind of in between. We need a bit of everything.
So you've done things sort of like in reverse in some respects, because you burst onto this international scene before you burst on to, say, the Barbados scene. So you went international, you went global, and now you've come back and you're doing stuff locally too as well. Where did that opportunity, how did that happen? How did that come about?
Yeah, well, I remember we were actually going on a family trip, my entire family, and we saw the Glenigors in England, and we saw there was a race happening. At that point I was just racing in Barbados. I think I went to Jamaica one time, maybe the US once. And yeah, we were going on holiday, we saw there was a race, so we decided to do it. Me, my brother, and Kiffin Simpson, we went up there, and yeah, we weren't expecting anything, just to have some fun, and I ended up winning the race. So from then on, Bushy Park, Rock Hard Cement, and all my sponsors hopped on board, and we went to the US the next year, and yeah, that's where it really started. We kind of jumped, like you said, straight into the deep end, and yeah, I was able to swim, so that's where we continued.
Good way to do it. So tell me and the audience, you hear Formula 1, Formula 3, and so on. What are the various stages or demarcations and so on? What is different, and how do you accelerate then to I'm assuming that F1 is the ultimate.
Yeah, well, Formula 1 is the pinnacle of racing, and then below that is Formula 2 and then Formula 3. Of course, there's different, let's say, versions of racing. So there's GT cars, which is a tin top car. There's IndyCar, there's Formula E. So there's lots of different racing around the world, but F1, F2, and F3 is the main, let's say, the main place to go if you want to be a professional and make the most money, let's say. So Formula 1 is the pinnacle. Formula 2 is the drivers trying to get to Formula 1, and Formula 3 is trying to get to Formula 2, then to Formula 1. So everyone in that circle is amazing, and yeah, they're professionals and at the top level. But of course, Formula 1 is the goal for everyone.
The ultimate goal. Interesting. So you would become the first Barbadian really to compete at that level. What part does sponsorship play? What part does personal investment, family, and so on have in order to sustain a motor racing career?
Yeah, it's very difficult. The cost is a very big thing in motorsport. Of course, if you do the job on track at this level of the sport, you have a better chance of making it, but you won't make it without coming with some sort of budget, and because the manufacturers, it really helps them to develop the F1 cars. So a driver that can pay a lot of money is almost at the same level as a driver who's amazing.
How many hours, like, per week do you put in terms of the various elements of training and practice and so on the track and off the track?
Yeah, well, it's a full-time job. Of course, there's so much work that goes into it: training, nutrition, simulator work at the team, meetings with the team to prepare for the next race. No one, of course, sees that, but yeah, it becomes second nature, and I almost wake up every day only thinking about racing. So when I leave here, I'm going to be thinking about racing, nothing else. Watching YouTube videos, watching videos on F1 TV on what other drivers are doing. So yeah,
So you're studying the competition as well?
Yeah, of course, it's my life goal, and even if I'm on a football pitch playing football, it's still in the back of your head, racing.
Well, we're thoroughly impressed that you gave us some time here this morning. We'll continue to watch your progress and wish you well in your quest to become, and I'm sure you don't want to just become a Formula 1 driver. I know you want to Your quest is to go for the top, really. Yeah?
Yep.
All right, wonderful. So there you have it. Zane Maloney, young Barbadian from the Maloney clan of rally racing drivers, and he has taken the family brand and name to another level because he's gone international now, an F3 racing driver. And we wish you all success, Zane. We hope you'll come back when, remember, you owe us one when you become Formula One, you know, and you're up there in the stars with Lewis and them boys, you know, you still got to remember the fellows at Capital Media and come back and give us another look in.
I will. Well, thanks for having me, and I'll continue to try to do everyone in Barbados proud.